What if the most dangerous promise Jamie Fraser has ever made is the one he didn't even realize he made? By the end of Outlander Season 8, Episode 6, everything changes. Not because of a battle, not because of an enemy attack, but because of a single connection that could cost Jamie everything. Because now he owes Benjamin Cleveland. And in a world already torn apart by the American Revolutionary War, owing the wrong man isn't just dangerous.
It's deadly.
Jamie's final warning in this episode doesn't just hint at what's coming. It feels like a sign that something bigger is already in motion. Something he may not be able to stop, even if he sees it coming. So, what exactly did Jamie promise? Why does Cleveland matter so much? And could this one decision be the beginning of Jamie's downfall? Let's break it all down. Benjamin Cleveland isn't just another figure in the chaos of the American Revolutionary War. He's unpredictable, strategic, and most importantly, he operates in the gray areas where loyalty isn't always clear. That alone makes him dangerous. But what makes him even more dangerous is the position he now holds in Jamie's life. Because by the end of Episode 6, there's a clear understanding, whether spoken outright or not, that Jamie owes him. And in a world like Outlander, owing someone like Cleveland is never simple. It's never clean. It's never without consequence. The episode carefully builds toward this realization. At first, the interactions between Jamie and Cleveland seem measured, almost respectful. There's a sense that both men recognize something in each other: strength, leadership, a shared understanding of the stakes involved in the war. But beneath that surface, there's tension. Because Cleveland isn't just observing, he's calculating. And Jamie, whether he fully realizes it or not, is stepping into a situation where the balance of power isn't entirely in his favor. But here's the question you should be asking right now. Did Jamie willingly put himself in Cleveland's debt, or was this something he couldn't avoid? Because the answer to that might tell us exactly how dangerous this alliance really is. One of the most important aspects of this storyline is how it ties into Jamie's sense of honor. He doesn't make deals lightly. He doesn't accept help without understanding what it means. But this situation feels different. Because the war is closing in. The pressure is mounting. And sometimes, survival requires decisions that wouldn't normally be made. That's what makes this moment so critical. Jamie isn't just acting as a leader. He's reacting to circumstances that are becoming increasingly difficult to control. And Cleveland steps into that space, offering something, creating a connection, establishing a dynamic that immediately raises questions. And then we get to the ending, the warning. Jamie's words in the final moments of Episode 6 aren't just directed at one person, they echo outward. They carry weight, not just because of what he says, but because of what we now understand about his position. This isn't just a man preparing for battle. This is a man who knows that something bigger is coming, something that can't be easily stopped. And when Jamie issues a warning, it's never empty. It means he sees something others don't.
Think about it.
Cleveland represents unpredictability. He's not bound by the same rules, the same sense of honor, the same structure that defines Jamie. That makes him useful, but it also makes him a risk. And now, Jamie is connected to him. That connection alone changes the stakes. Because if Cleveland decides to act in a way that conflicts with Jamie's values, what happens then? Does Jamie honor his debt? Or does he draw a line? That's the conflict that's been set up here. And it's a powerful one. Another key detail in this episode is how isolated Jamie begins to feel. Not physically, but strategically. The war is pulling him in multiple directions. His responsibilities to Fraser's Ridge, to his family, to the larger conflict, they're all colliding. And now, on top of that, he has this obligation. This unseen thread tying him to Cleveland. It's subtle, but it's there. And it's going to matter. Next is the truth about William's cousin, Benjamin Gray, explained. William's story in Outlander Season 8, Episode 6, picks up just after he punched his cousin Ben in the face. While he was initially relieved that he was alive, William quickly realized that Ben must have faked his death to avoid the shame of switching to the side of the rebels. Ben is now called General Bleecker, and he explains that he was convinced to join the Continental Army after reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense. The conversation between William and Ben takes a turn when William brings up Amaranthus. Ben mentions that it had been his wife's idea to fake his death and switch sides, and this isn't news that William takes particularly well. He subtly reveals that he slept with Amaranthus, which enrages Ben, and a fight breaks out between them. Ben has William arrested, but thankfully, Denzel Hunter is there to save the day. That's not the end of William's problems, however. Now, he will have to return to Amaranthus and figure out what to do about the realization that she has been keeping secrets. Next is Ian and Rachel finally discover the fate of Emily and her children. A few episodes back in Outlander Season 8, Ian discovered that Continental soldiers attacked several Native American tribes across North Carolina. He immediately became concerned that something might have happened to his ex-wife and her children. Of course, the woman's oldest son is Ian's own biological child. So, he and Rachel, and their new son, temporarily named Augie, head out to discover their fate. It's no easy task, but the couple does find Wahanha and confirm that she and her children are alive and safe. However, Wahanha has a request of her previous partner. She has dreamed that their son, swiftest of lizards, is captured by white soldiers and forced to fight in a battle that takes his life. Wahanha asks that Ian take the boy to live with him and Rachel, so he will be safe. Ian never had a chance to really know Swiftest of Lizards, whom he also named Ian James. It's long been a sore spot for him, so his reunion with the boy is a welcome one. Rachel is beautifully gracious about the whole thing, putting her own jealousy aside and promising to love Ian James as her own son. The pair will now set out to return to Fraser's Ridge, a much bigger family than they were when they left. Next is Francis Marion promises Roger weapons following the battle. Though Roger hadn't planned to fight in the doomed siege of Savannah, a lot of good came from it. First, the experience of being blown off his feet in the battle brought on a flashback to Roger's childhood when his father suddenly appeared to save his life the day his mother died, during the Blitz of World War II. He realized that after he sent Jeremiah Mackenzie through the Standing Stones in 17th century Scotland, the man must have found his way to the London Underground just in time to save his young son's life. Roger hadn't changed history, but he was a part of it. This revelation dispelled all of Roger's reservations about becoming an ordained minister, and he decides to make it his goal going forward. After he and Brianna celebrate this decision with a rather spicy moment, Roger gets some more good news. Francis Marion was impressed by Roger's valor in battle, and while he still doesn't trust Jamie, Roger has earned his respect. Marion agrees to give Roger weapons to bring back to Fraser's Ridge. Cunningham may be gone, but the man he was working for is not. Major Patrick Ferguson is bloodthirsty and absolutely set on eliminating rebels from the backcountry. He wants to see Jamie hanged, so more men like Cunningham are sure to pop up at Fraser's Ridge. Even Jamie's allies will be a problem as Outlander Season 8 continues. Benjamin Cleveland is a nasty piece of work, and as far as he sees it, Jamie owes him a favor. Given what we know from Frank's book, it seems likely that Jamie's participation in the Battle of Kings Mountain will be the answer to that favor. Overall, it means that things at Fraser's Ridge are only about to get worse.